Hello and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Stellaris with the Bakturian Collective. It has been a fair while since the last video, and finished a couple wars, which I will show you. So let's see, I did manage to take quite a chunk of territory out over from the Commonwealth and the, what is this called, the Hithian colonies or something like that? Yeah. So took a lot of territory from that in between the last video, took the rest of this, annexed my vassal. All in all, you didn't miss much. It was pretty much exactly what the last wars have been. Go and blockade planets the best you can, siege them down, and catch little guys that are straggling around trying to siege down your own worlds and bum rush. And, all in all, between, let's see, I conquered these guys. They were in a defensive pact with these two, so I had to fight all three at once. And that actually ended up being kind of tough, because their combined military strength was actually large enough that they posed a major threat to me, but it took about an hour and a half of war, and I was able to knock them down, and eliminate them completely from the game, so the Vogue Oris are completely mine. And then, I looked at this and said, well, you guys are still in a defensive pact, but I just crushed your navy, and for some reason, I do not have a truce timer with you, because I attacked someone else. So I just attacked them immediately after that, and took some more territory. So in the meantime, yeah, we're pretty large and in charge right now. And then I got this event right here, and I figured, now's as good a time as any to go ahead and start a new video. An AI Accord. Our administration has been approached by a number of synths representing our artificially intelligent population. They speak of particular issues facing robots in the Bakturian Collective, the anxieties of not being alive by organic standards, their rights subject to the whims of their creators. They seek an accord that the rights of artificial intelligences be made part of the indelible foundation of Bakturian governance. I don't know if this is an event that we get only because we are materialists. It's possible. But we have the option to say that they are equal to our citizens, so we can never outlaw them or make them servants. They will always have citizen rights. And then, they will never revolt. So basically, we'll never have the AI rebellion crisis, which is fine with me. I'm actually glad to see that gone. It's one less thing to be anxious about. Or we could just not guarantee their rights, but I figure I might as well do this. So we're going to guarantee that all synthetics are now equivalent citizens, at which point I'm almost tempted to say we should just build more synthetic populations. You know? Like, why the heck not? I don't know. Anyway, I'm still trying to make these guys happy. They're still fanatic pacifists, which is a big problem. Some of them are starting to switch over to materialists, which is better. But until I can get rid of the pacifists, the Obevni civilization is never going to be especially useful to me, but you know, I'll do the best that I can with it. How are we looking as far as food? Pretty darn good. So, switch you over here, and you up here. And we'll upgrade a few more things. But yeah, I mean, Stellaris is a fun game, but we've reached the point where it's just conquer, it's really annoying fighting a war, hunt down the stragglers, rinse, repeat, and just keep expanding as a militarist empire. We are getting a lot stronger over time. Like, my naval capacity is soaring. I don't have enough ships to justify, you know, such a high naval capacity, but it's getting up there. I don't know if I pointed this out in the last video, but these guys are no longer overwhelming to us, so we actually are getting to a point where if I can get up my high naval capacity, we can actually threaten some of the fallen empires, which would be kind of fun, I think. Now, I am trying to get a lot of my fleets together over in Glugdur so that I can upgrade all of my ships, because I am planning on switching over to jump drive, which is dangerous technology, but I am really tired of having to use the freaking wormholes. And the description of the jump, well, hang on. The description of the jump drive is that I can move around near instantaneously, which sounded really attractive to me. Let's see. Jump drive tears ship-sized holes in the very fabric of reality, allowing for near-instantaneous movement between systems. So, since our number one problem in war has been chasing down our opponents, I figure it's worth a shot. Now, granted, this does open me up to a crisis event. I'm aware that is dangerous, but we're going to do the best we can with it anyway. And you know what? A crisis event could make for some interesting content, because right now, I don't know, I feel like the last, like, dozen or so videos in particular have just been very stale. Because there's just not a lot going on. It's the same thing as always. Kill somebody. Oh no, they're getting through. Oh, this is so annoying. Oh, ethics divergence is insane. It's the same arguments every single time, and I can't keep the videos interesting. So, I like the fact that I'm able to play a little bit in the background. Just kind of jump in, do a video, kind of get you guys updated as to what's happening, and then we'll cover any big events that do occur, such as a crisis event, if it does happen. which it may not. Okay, let's get all these guys grouped up together. We've got some pretty big navies. I also did get a couple of new modules for some battleships, so I created a couple of new classes. Let's see. I did, by the way, find that advanced bomber wings have very good DPS. 24 DPS, plus 50% armor penetration, plus 100% shield penetration. Now I'm starting to think that hangar units are actually going to be really good once you get some amazing technology. But anyway, yeah, I did create a couple new class of battleships. So the Soothsayer, which, this is an okay DPS ship, but primarily you have the ship-mounted capacitor fields, which increases monthly shield regeneration. I'm not sure it's very important, but, you know, I mean, shields sort of regenerate fine on their own. The Messiah class is probably better, but it can do something. And then the Defiant class, which is more of a hangar ship, but this has the ship-mounted quantum destabilizers, which reduces their fire rate by 15%. Now, all that sounds good, like the auras of the battleship sounds great. The problem with it is, how often do you really think that your opponents are going to get into this circle? Not that often, honestly. The AI, typically, and myself included, have long-range weapons. We kind of stay out of each other's range of the aura and just shoot each other down. So as good as these auras are, and I have a lot of them starting to stack up, it's not as important as you might have thought, is basically what I'm trying to say. But hey, it's there, and we'll see what we can do with it. Let's see, war declaration. I don't know why I'm getting invited on this. I keep getting invited. The Dis League and I have a non-aggression pact. We're not allies. Or at least we used to have a non-aggression pact, and now we don't, so I'm not really sure. And yes, by the way, every time I reload the game, the defensive pacts with my vassals resets, which is very irritating. And unfortunately, the Athelid Dominion has gotten large enough that I can't release them and then expect them to become a vassal again. It works fine with these guys, right? So I'm going to release the subject, I'm going to break the defensive pact, then I'm going to demand vassalization, and he's fine with it. The Athelids, no. So the sooner I annex these guys, probably the better. And I'm probably going to do exactly that, but we'll see. Where are you? Get over the planet, please. Alright. So let's group all of them up. I have also found that point defense is absolutely amazing. So I'm starting to replace almost all of my corvettes with the Harpy class. No, sorry, the Cherub class. Which is... Why can't you... Oh, the Soothsayer has the jump drive already. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and upgrade these guys. It's going to cost me 5,000 minerals. That's fine, it's going to take a little while. But anyway, yeah, I'm already upgrading pretty much all my corvettes to the Cherub class with the point defense, because I watched it in slow-mo fighting another fleet, and it actually does a remarkably good job of shooting down torpedoes. And against guys like this, for example, they love their missiles. Like, that's the main thing that they use, is just tons and tons and tons of missiles. Ute listening post. We've discovered several massive listening arrays on Myriad 7. These arrays are millions of years old, and we believe they were originally built by the Ute. Cool, I finally found another Ute artifact.
Situation log updated.
Took long enough. Where is it? Let's see. You. Okay. So I need a better scientist than this if I'm going to make this work. I'll let you finish your survey order. Then I need to switch out my scientists. This guy will be fine. Okay, you. Why don't you go ahead and do this first. And then I'll allow you to finish surveying some systems. Look for anything new and cool. Ongoing research lacks a scientist. Apparently, it didn't switch them around. That's fine. Okay. In the last wars, actually, I kept sending science ships to try and survey, not debris necessarily, but just planets, and it was so annoying because these little guys would just send like 5 corvettes or something like that on little attack runs, and then, oh look, all of a sudden they've infiltrated over here, now they're killing my scientist ships, and I lost a lot of scientists that way. Very irritating. You may have noticed, by the way, if I look at this planet, that the sectors are indeed building a bunch of defensive stations. Like, here's a fortress right here. This thing's a beast. It's got 6.4k power by itself, which is great. I should have built one over here, and the reason being, let's see. Yep, I did build one right here. Reason being, this is a choke point for the hyperspace lanes coming out of here. And I know that this particular species uses hyperspace. This one uses wormholes, but I've reduced them pretty easily, and it's not hard to sweep in and destroy their wormhole generator so they can't get around. Now, I should more or less be able to stop these guys from coming into my territory in the next war. So it's going to be very, very easy to wipe them out, I think, next time. And they have a lot of planets. It's going to be huge if I can eat them up. But yeah, so we managed to take a good, like, quarter summit of the galaxy now, which is pretty good. They did accept the vassalization. Good. I really am tired of you asking my permission. I don't care. More stuff got repaired. And some of these planets are just kind of worthless, honestly. I'm getting really annoyed dealing with them. I often am finding that I'll just build like a virtual combat arena because I want to make sure that we have it, and then I'll just hand it off to a sector and say, yeah, sectors, go ahead, have fun. I'm really not in the mood to deal with you. And that's actually been working out pretty well for me thus far. Now, granted, all my sectors are told to, they're being told to, what am I trying to say? Ooh, hello. Build defensive stations, that's what I'm trying to say. So they're not really focusing much on the war economy, and they probably should be. But with my fleet docked up, I'm making 300 energy per month, and I'm always at the cap. I'm always at the cap. And during the war, when I wasn't really focusing on my economy, I was having like 20,000 minerals, so, you know, we're really doing fine on that front. Hey, transport fleet, you should probably go back to the capital world for now. Let's not forget about that. Okay, so what else is going on? Anything new? I mean, really, once we get these jump drives, I'm just going to be using these extensively. Let me see what this ship can do. I want to see how fast this thing gets around. So, if I go to this is my Soothsayer-class battleship. Now, this one was recently built. It's pretty fast. Granted, I'm moving on fastest speed, so... But overall, like, it's really booking it. For a battleship, not bad. So if I tell this ship to go from Tifum to, let's say... Elam. Now, well, wait, hang on. Okay, now notice this. It does not need to jump to a wormhole station in order to go to another sector. So, how far can it go? Can it go from here to here? Oh, yeah. How far can you go? Okay, you do have to make some jumps. Okay. But, as long... Okay, so you see this round circle right here? This is its range. You can make it in one jump. No need for the wormhole. Now, how fast can it actually go? Granted, we are playing on fast speed, but that's what you're used to seeing in this series. I want to see how quickly it moves, because that'll determine how good these jump drives are. Not bad. It's about the same speed as a wormhole generator, honestly. And there we are. Huh. Now, the main advantage, though, is I actually can chase after ships and don't need to do this whole double jump with the wormhole, and by the time I make the second jump, they've already moved. So that actually is going to be immensely helpful for chasing down my enemies. I kind of wish it was a little bit faster than that, but it's not bad, honestly. I kind of like the jump drive. Again, it's almost certainly going to cause a crisis event. But if you're okay with that, then I'm okay with that, and it should be fun. Alright, construction ships. Let's take advantage of some of the research, minerals. Anything else? Nothing I'm really aware of yet. I did get even more border upgrades with my research, which was kind of nice. So my borders are actually pretty much reaching toward the core of the galaxy now. Which, you know, doesn't really mean anything, but it looks cool. Can't really complain about that. Not a lot that I feel like I need to build, except for perhaps out here. Let's go and get some more research stations and such. I just need to survey all these systems, because right now they're kind of worthless to me, but I feel a lot better about having this fortress here. That's going to be immensely helpful in keeping these guys down for the next time I want to go to war. Very much looking forward to that. We'll see how that works out. Okay, these guys are up to like 13-something%. So, yeah, we've got almost 60,000 military power now, which is still not even half of my naval capacity. So realistically, I could have about 100,000 power in my Bakturian collective, assuming I have the energy for it, which, right now, I do. So, that's not half bad. What are we building over here? Some more, battleships, because I upgraded a spaceport to have better explosives and energy and armor. So these are going to end up being some really, really tough battleships. Assuming I can get them. If I had more Zro, I would have built another, what's it called? Navigator's Guild, but... Alas, despite the fact that it says I have 1 out of 1 Zro available, I do not actually have 1 out of 1 Zro. It is lying to you all. So, oh well. We should be able to uplift some new species, by the way. If I go to F3... Hello, another pre-sentient species. Now, this looks suspiciously similar to these guys, just a slightly different color, but don't pay attention to that. It's perfectly fine. Now, it says this is outside my borders. What do you mean it's outside my borders? Oh yeah, sure enough, it's actually outside my borders. Well, I'll be damned. Well then, why are you saying it's in my empire? These are the species of my empire. But it's actually outside. I would think it should be excluded from this list, but apparently not. Most people do have the conformist trait now available to me, so that's good. I'm hoping maybe we're going to get another trait point eventually. Not too sure if we will. Maybe we'll find some more technology with it, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and get all these guys converted.
Log updated.
Doop, 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 doop. Don't have border access. Of course I don't. Because that bug is still a problem with the Carillion sovereignty. That's why I haven't been able to upgrade them. Archaeological project complete. We have learned that the listening arrays built there were used to scan space for any signs of intelligent alien life, something the Ute had never once encountered. After managing to partially restore power to a computer terminal, the archaeologist acquired a data disk with log files from the sensor array stretching over centuries. Okay. Indeed was devoid of sentient life. So we got an artifact and a little bit of engineering research. Okay, cool. 20% failure risk. I have had 3 of these and failed all 3 of them when they were less than 15% each. Immensely unlucky. Notice, by the way, we've been doing pretty well on influence. It's because I've been going to war a lot more lately. And just humiliating everyone. And it's been going amazingly well. These guys are not... Yeah, they have no defensive pacts. We should just conquer these guys, honestly. They're pathetic to me. And they are militarists. So, the xenophobe sucks, but we'll be able to deal with them fairly effectively, I suspect. I have decided, by the way, the best tactic to use when fighting the AI. I don't know about players and multiplayer campaigns, but the AI, it is better to find the most likely choke point they're going to come to. So this, for example, declare war and sit there and let them come to you. Ambush them, wipe out their navy, and then don't worry about invading any planets. Just split your fleet into nice, strong sections, like groups of, let's say, 15,000 power each, at least at this point in the game, and just go around on aggressive, destroying everything they have. Destroy all wormhole generators, destroy all stations so they can't build new ships. Just wipe out their naval capacity, then you can worry about systematically taking them down. Once their navy's out of the way, you're usually in pretty good shape, and if you can take out all their stations, they don't build those tiny little ships, corvettes, that will harass you behind your front line. At least that's the strategy that I've been employing thus far, and it seems to be working a lot better. And of course, making good use of these fortresses and so on is going to be extremely advantageous as well. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that I've been learning in the meantime. Okay, more stuff surveyed. Nothing especially useful to me. I guess we'll go ahead and take advantage of some more minerals. I mean, at this point, I make so much energy, there's no reason not to just take advantage of every station I can find. Fire of the Furnace. We have made an interesting find on Habrakila. However, it is not related to the moon itself. While conducting our usual tests, we captured some odd data from a far-off system's star. Its radiation indicates that it is able to fuse together beryllium without spallation? What's spallation? Something that should not be possible. The science team are eager to investigate and have limited the potential stars down to 2 not-too-distant systems. Consult the situation log. I certainly have time for this. This should prove fruitful. So let's find that. See, this is the part of Stellaris I'm liking, these random events, but that requires, like, just surveying a ton. And just taking out your science ships, survey all these systems, have these random anomalies. Like, this is the part of the game that's fun, but, like, realistically, I don't know. It's a little disappointing to me that you reach a point in the game, the late game, where that just doesn't happen, and all that's left is just warfare, and warfare is tedious and not that fun, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, but I have problems with it. Seriously, I thought there was one of the systems could potentially hold the odd radiation star. It doesn't tell me what to do, so I'm assuming we just have to show up. You know, there's a good chance to try out my jump drive, so he'll make it in 4 really long jumps. No wormhole stations required. Technically, I could actually just get rid of all my wormhole stations at this point, and that would probably be fine. And I don't think I'm going to, because then I'd have to go and upgrade all my civilian ships as well, but still. Let's just sort of see what happens. How these guys upgrading. About a quarter of the way done. They'll have jump drive by the time you see my next video. This guy is definitely getting around a lot faster than I'm accustomed to. That's great, actually. Because he pops out in the edge of space and can immediately jump to the next area. It is definitely faster than wormholes. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's just sort of see what happens before I call this video. Because we are out of time. Fire of the furnace. We seem to have found the right system. The radiation data of the local star match the ones previously encountered. I guess it wasn't this one after all. Usual star stuff. Well, it says in search of odd readings, but here it is. Go to. Why don't you come and research this right away? Let's just sort of see what happens. I guess the 2 stars were right here then. Well, good job then. Seems we found exactly what we were looking for. Okay, cool. Go back to Tifham. Look how many auras I have. So many battleships. Like, my build order, like my balance of ships is way off. I mean, if you believe Reddit, right, as far as, like, what kind of stuff you ought to have, I have way too many battleships. But I have the economy to support it, and they're really strong ships. So it's like, why not? You know, I'll just use the super long-range stuff. By the way, I have discovered that tachyon lances are not the only good long-range weapons out there. There are versions of kinetic and missiles. So the proton and neutron torpedoes are the super long-range torpedoes. The tachyon lance is the super long-range version of a laser, and the in this case, kinetic artillery is apparently the long-range version of kinetic weapons. So this is the rank 2, which means I suspect this should be relatively on the same level-ish as the tachyon lance. It says average damage per second is 15.75. Pretty long range, not so good accuracy. We'll continue working on the minerals. I don't know, I'm thinking I might start switching up some of my navy so it's not using only tachyon lances. Maybe, just maybe, I want to use some proton torpedoes once I do have those researched. We'll kind of switch it up. Have the armor penetration, have the shield penetration, you know. Good long-range weapons, better accuracy. I mean, this has 90% accuracy and it does 16 DPS and has 75 armor penetration. Like, this tachyon lance is infinitely better than the kinetic weaponry, but it drains a ton of power. So I don't have as much for defensive shields and so on. And that might be the trade-off. I'm not too sure. I'm going to call this video here, though, but things are progressing pretty well. Next video, I don't know what I'll have done. Maybe I'll have wiped these guys out here, taken a little bit more. Maybe I'll start annexing some of my vassals. Those are the kind of things I'm thinking about doing. Just continuing to expand, swallow up as much of the galaxy as possible. Right now, we've taken long enough to conquer stuff that a lot of the other AIs have somewhat comparable technology now. But we have a significant numbers advantage because we were able to expand further than anyone else. So our economy is really strong, our military is really strong, and our technology is still good enough that I don't feel a need to change it. But we'll see how things work out. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I, as always, will see you guys next time.